Jacksonville.
Some fan sent that to me. It was a little clown figurine, and I said, you know what? I'm going to put it there to remind myself every day why I come to work, what my purpose is, I guess. You know, is prove them wrong.
They hand it to Montgomery again. He walks into the end zone for the touchdown. A 2-yard touchdown run. That ball's caught. You just called it, Jeff, a crossing route to St. Brown. Nobody near him. He'll walk into the end zone, a 27-yarder. He is into the end zone. He got hit from behind by one of those big guards and just carried him into the end zone. That's an easy 6-yard touchdown run. Boy, is he fast. He's going to run to the pylon. Touchdown. Fires back in the end zone. Caught for the touchdown. Wide open was the tight end, Brock Wright. Fires downfield. That ball's going to be caught. Williams, 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, another touchdown, 46 yards, correction, 64 yards, 64-yard touchdown. Jamison Williams fires right side. That ball's caught for the touchdown on the right side of the end zone. Amon-Ra St. Brown beat Ronald Darby, yet another perfect throw. And the Lions have scored touchdowns on all 7 of their possessions in this ball game against the Jaguars.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. It is a Check the Tape Tuesday here. Oh, my goodness. I'm glad that's Jeff Lageman's job around these parts. Tony Smith, good morning. How are you?
Doing well.
Pockets?
Another day.
All right. Pockets is, he's glum today. Logs, what's going on? How are you?
Good morning, boys. Good morning.
Whoa. Good morning to you. Coming to us from, well, yeah, somebody had you way turned up there, Jeffrey,
Yeah,
but we hear you.
that.
No, not your fault. We hear you loud and clear on this end.
Good.
How are things for you this morning?
Good. I had a very enjoyable morning. I watched the sunrise. I did not see a deer, but I had a beautiful morning.
All right. Well, excellent. Logs, we've got a lot to get into. The worst loss in Jaguars history in terms of margin of defeat. Several, terrible marks set. It was the third worst yardage differential between two teams in the history of the National Football League. As JP Shadrack kept pointing out, the Lions have played football since 1930, and that was the most yards they've ever gained in a single game. Jeff, I don't think we thought they were going to beat the Lions, right?
Where do you begin, right?
Where do you begin? I mean, did you ever think it could be as bad as it was this weekend?
To answer your question, no, but I had a big concern about the dam finally breaking. You go and you look at some of the previous games that the Jaguars have played, and they really hung tight under some circumstances that a lot of teams might end up, I don't want to say throw it in the towel, but not be as good towards the end of a game. And I knew that the Detroit Lions were a physical team. I knew they were a team that wouldn't take their foot off the gas pedal, so to speak. And so I had a lot of concerns about this ball game, but I did not think that it could get to the extent that it did.
We listened to the broadcast with you and the crew there, Tony Baselli, Frank Frangie, Bucky Brooks on the sideline. And Bucky brought up, and he's not one to go for this kind of stuff hyperbole-wise, that he didn't see the fire in pregame. He was concerned about that then. And even during the game broadcast, he thought these guys just didn't have it on Sunday. Yesterday, head coach of the Jaguars, Doug Peterson, said, look, this wasn't us. That Detroit's just a really good team. Look, it is them. They went out there and they put that on film, right? That is who they were. Did you think the effort was lacking from this football team this weekend?
Yes. Simple answer, yes. And to say that that's not who we are, well, the reality is that's what you were on Sunday. And that's fact, and that's not going to change. And it was very disappointing. Got to the point that it was embarrassing. I've been involved in one football game like that going back to 1995 when we were an expansion team.
Right.
And Detroit was taking a knee on us. And it's not a fun game to be a part of. But I think we in 1995, and I'm not trying to minimize what we had, but I mean, look, we were an expansion team. And this is a football team that was expecting to compete, to compete at a high level. And that wasn't anywhere close to competing. And it was very disappointing. And defensively, that was the biggest disappointment and this defense has had problems all year. But to allow a Detroit Lions team, and I don't remember the exact stat, but I mean, I want to say like after the first couple touchdowns, that I think they only had a couple third downs, which means that they were just bam, 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 bam. And we're averaging at one point in the game over 10 yards a play. It's like, that just doesn't happen.
They earned
Football
first
League,
downs on half their plays. They had whatever it was, 76 plays, 38 first downs in the game.
Which is unbelievable.
It's almost unheard of.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
We saw a few weeks ago, Andre Sisco talked about seeing quit from teammates on the field, right? And that does feel like that kind of thing being said cast a shadow to some degree, but it felt like that showed up again on Sunday. You got to go back and watch the tape. Who among, we talked about them kind of throwing in the towel at some point, maybe early in that game against Detroit on Sunday. When you went back and watched the tape, who didn't appear to have done that? Like, who did you see maximum effort from, especially on the defensive side of the ball, from the entirety of that game on Sunday?
Well, Tony, I'm not going to get into naming names because I think you could literally go across the board and say everybody. There were plays that were play started out, and we all knew that the Detroit Lions had a really good offensive line. And you knew that they had two of the best backs in the National Football League. And I think that's where it really started. I think that really took the heart out of the Jaguars defense. They completely dominated the line of scrimmage. When they were running the football, there were running backs that were getting 4 yards down the field with the line of scrimmage. And that's not playing good football. And so do you sit there and say, well, they just got blown off the ball, or is that a lack of effort? I mean, I don't know. I can just tell you this. It's a poor performance. And there's no way in the world that running backs can get down the field 4 or 5 yards with the whole line of scrimmage coming with them. And at times that's what it was like. And the Detroit Lions do a really good job of play action. And so since they were able to run the football at will, it made it basically impossible to stop their passing game. And, look, the last 3 games, the Jaguars defense, it's not like that this was one out of character game. In the last 3 games, the Jaguars have given up 602 yards rushing. Fact. 602 yards rushing. And you remember at the beginning of the season, the Jaguars defense was struggling against the pass, but the one area they kind of were hanging their hat on was playing good defense.
Yeah.
Well, that's gone out the window.
Good run defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone out the window. And once they ended up passing the ball, the one thing was very apparent. They went absolutely after Ronald Darby. I mean, it was very obvious that he was going to be a target in this game, and he was. And the Detroit Lions did exactly what they wanted, when they wanted, and how they wanted.
So, Logs, let me ask you, and this is a weird point that the Jags find themselves in, right? But take the Jaguar label off this. If you had a team, the same set of circumstances, they're 2-8, they've underachieved. Coaching staff has been there for a few years, so it's not like they're just hired, right? And you're going into a game right before the bye week against one of the top teams in the National Football League. It's just natural that the discussion of if it doesn't go well, if it gets embarrassing this week, there could be change, right? And that's just a narrative that's going to happen with any team that has that particular set of circumstances that the Jags had. Then Ian Rappaport puts out I'm using air quotes, report about this, where he used words like could and possibly, like it could happen. Some change possibly might happen. And people are like, oh, okay. Ian Rappaport said, they get all like they're anticipating it and they're waiting for it. I heard Adam Schefter this morning asked on ESPN, what do you think about the Jags situation? He goes, well, here's what I think. I think Shad Khan is mulling his options, and change could come. It could come today. It could come next week. It could come at the end of the year, which is basically saying nothing. Yes, we all know change could come. okay, with the circumstances with the Jags. What I'm asking you, based on everything that went down and the culmination of that loss and the bottoming out aspect of it for this football team, are you surprised that no changes have been made at this point? Here we are on Tuesday morning.
No, I'm not surprised, and for two reasons. One, I don't think that having change at this point is really going to make anything better, for the time being. The only thing that it would allow you to do is to maybe get a head start, if you were planning on doing something. It'll give you an opportunity to get a head start on going ahead and just moving forward. But I think as far as performance-wise, it doesn't help your football team at all. And the other thing with this whole thing is that nobody knows. There's one man that makes the call on that, and that's Shad Khan. And his circle is incredibly tight. He doesn't let anybody know what he's going to do. So for anybody to speculate, like Rap Sheet did on that report, is pure speculation. It's basically trying to be an educated guesser. But the reality is that you can't educate a guess on a person that is making the call by himself and has a very tight circle, or maybe even doesn't even have a circle. I don't know. So I don't know. Look, the reality is that it's the National Football League, and when you don't perform, change is coming, and that's just a fact. And this football team, if they don't get any better, and even if they just stay the same, change will come. I don't know when, I don't know how, but change is going to come at some point if it continues to be this way.
Yeah, and look, I'm not even just talking about the Shad Khan decisions, right? He is going to decide who's the general manager and the head coach. And you're right, none of us can speak for him. None of us know exactly what he's thinking. He doesn't broadcast it regularly. But even below that, Doug Peterson's decisions on his own staff. If you as a player were going through this and you see, this was as bad a loss as has ever been taken by the Jaguars in the history of the franchise. So is there nothing to making a staff coaching change or something, reassigning responsibilities that shows the players, hey, there have to be consequences. We can't cut all the players, right, because of the nature of the way the league is structured. But there has to be some consequences when you bottom out, or is that not I understand what you're saying. They're not going to all of a sudden become a top 5 defense or a top 5 offense or anything like that. But is there some value in sending the message that this level of performance will not be tolerated?
Sure. I think you don't do change just for change's sake, but you do change to try to make the end result different. And so I think you have to do something. But Mike, I don't think that that's just limited to doing something on the coaching staff. The reality is that there were moments this year that I thought that there would be some changes to the defensive lineup, and it didn't happen. And we're talking about a defense that's not like all of a sudden they just had a bad game. There has been some bad inconsistencies with this defense, but where has been the change? There hasn't been any. And I think that that's something that also is a little concerning because accountability is got to be had. If you're expecting success, and if all of a sudden you're not having performances at the level that you want them at, then you need to allow another person to have an opportunity at doing better.
All right. We got Logs here with us today. If you've got questions for him, and just to nip this in the bud, because I've seen some of this on social media. Logs, who's your list of coaching candidates? Who's your list of GM candidates? These kind of things. That's not – look, there are no openings. There are no vacancies.
Yeah, jobs aren't open yet.
Right? And if there are, we'll react to it when those situations change. So we're focusing today on more what they can do. Like you said, Logs, maybe it's lineup changes. Maybe it's scheme changes. Maybe it's better effort. Maybe it's whatever, playing different guys in different circumstances. So we welcome your calls today, as we always do, on a Check the Tape Tuesday at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. Also on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can hop in the YouTube virtual studio and get in the chat there. You can also hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Logs56, and at 1010XL Denmark.
I'm just sorry we're in this situation.
I am too, Dylan. Also you can find Dylan and I at our names over on Blue Sky as well, where, we got our feet in multiple social media worlds. So
Poppin'.
You can join us. It is popping. Dylan, I'm happy to see you're over 100 follows since in less than a week since joining. So congratulations to you. You're just a bustling beehive of activity over there. All right, Jeff Lageman's here with us. We'll talk Jaguars for the next couple hours. Try to come up with some answers and what this team can be expected to do in these final 6 games of the season, and what are the goals, and will Trevor Lawrence return, and all these things from Jeff's perspective. He's not going to have the answer to everything, or at least one that's going to satisfy you, but we'll do our best to discuss the pertinent issues with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, Logs, hang out. We'll rejoin you from a deer stand near you, somewhere out there, ladies and gentlemen, and Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark here in the 1010XL studios. 641-1010, the easiest path to get on board. It's a Check the Tape Tuesday on Jaguars Today here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Listen up, Dylan Denmark, okay? Breakfast items from Dandy are abundant, and I bring that up because somebody may be digging into pockets this week to buy a little breakfast for the crew. Dandy Foods has Dylan's back and everybody else's here in the city of Jacksonville. They're a Jacksonville-based company that's been around for nearly 7 decades and just serving excellent, high-quality food at a reasonable price. I mean, it's a simple formula, right? Use quality ingredients, and whether that's their breakfast menu, their sandwiches and subs, their late lunchtime wraps, or gourmet salads, or protein packs, or veggie trays, or fruit cups, they got all that stuff and more. Highest quality ingredients, locally sourced as often as possible. Deliver them fresh daily around the First Coast. Great variety and prices that always keep a smile on your face. So maybe, just maybe, I'll have a little French toast in my future, courtesy of Dylan Denmark and Dandy. And when you're hungry and do well, folks, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy and do it today.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Get inside the mind of Jags coach Doug Peterson.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't have butterflies.
Coach Speaks. Fridays at 4:05 on The Franchi Show.
I want to win.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists, and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
You've got so many chances to win big on Hard Rock Bet. Even a small bet can bring in that serious cash. All you need is $1 and a dream.
Unbelievable. They've hit the parlay. Let's go!
Big payouts for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Grab your lucky spot on the couch, because traditions make Sunday easy to enjoy. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
The best teal-colored coverage includes Mia's Quick Hits.
Get the latest news from inside the building and around the league. I'm Mia O'Brien, 1010XL's NFL Insider.
Driven by Arlington Toyota. Available on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Bank in the 2024 Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards, and it's easy easy to see why. I go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the new Durbin location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
You've worked hard to have nice things. Protect and enjoy them with a luxury storage unit at The Shed, opening soon in Atlantic Beach. You got to see these places to believe them. What a smart investment out at AB. I can take 10 minutes, but I can't tell you everything. Go to theshedjacks.com or take a tour on Instagram.
Jaguars fans, want to meet some of your favorite players? Coke Florida, Publix Supermarkets, and the Jags are giving you the chance. Join 1010XL at Publix, 170 Village Commons Drive, St. Augustine, Tuesday, November 19th at 5. For autographs, pictures, raffles, and more. Get off the sidelines and get to Publix to grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola, Coke Zero Sugar, or any of your favorite Coca-Cola beverages using Publix digital app. The Jaguars and Coke Florida. There's magic when we cheer together at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Come on, admit it. Almost everyone you know seems to be playing pickleball now, right? So whether you just want to learn how to play or you're ready to show off your elite pickleball skills, the Y is the place for you. Visit our brand new McGuire Family Pickleball Center at the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach. 5 top quality outdoor courts and 3 amazing indoor courts where you can learn about dinks, dill ball, falafel, the kitchen, and more pickleball slang at the Y.
Brian Wall here with Window World. You know that awesome feeling when you finally find that one place to go to that will give you a top quality product at a great price and then stand behind what they sell you? That's exactly what Window World does. Top quality, energy efficient windows at a great price that keeps more of your money in your bank account. With the absolute best guarantee in the window replacement business. That's why Window World has been the #1 window replacement company in the USA for years, selling more than 1 million windows each year for the past 8 years. That's a lot of satisfied customers, and you can be one too. Save money on installing new energy-efficient windows and save on your energy bills too. You can't lose. And if anything goes wrong with your new Window World windows ever, Window World and I will be there to make it right. Call Window World today or see them online and have them come and give you a free estimate and see why we are so proud of our products and the work we do for our customers. Call Window World or go online at windowworldneflorida.com. And thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
I just started talking there, Pockets. I didn't know. I just,
Wait a minute. We got to get our sponsors.
I started yelling. Jeff Lageman is here with us. Check the tape Tuesday. Logs, let's start with this. We got phone callers galore here. We're going to get to that. I just want to ask you one question, very specific. Gabe Davis is out for the year, okay? I'm looking at snap counts this weekend from this game. I'm obsessed with snap counts now. Brian Thomas played 94% of the snaps at wide receiver. Good. 58% for Parker Washington, 54% for Gabe Davis. So that's a lot of snaps out there that were leaving behind. Prior to that, and that he got hurt during the game. Week before, he played 86%. Who is taking Gabe Davis's spot in the lineup once the bye goes by?
Well, I think Parker Washington will take a lot more snaps in the ball game first and foremost, and then after that, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. They're going to allow Tim Jones to come up. Will they allow Duvernay, or will they, maybe move somebody up from the practice squad, given that you're going to have an extra roster spot? I know this past game they moved up. Is it Velus Jones?
Velus Jones, yes.
Is how you pronounce it. They had him activated up for the game day, so maybe it's him. Not sure exactly what they're going to do, but I think first and foremost, the first answer is Parker Washington will play probably nearly every snap now going forward.
Okay, just curious because they did a few weeks ago. They went with Austin Trammell.
They did.
You've got Elijah Cooks. Just be curious to see what he does. As Gabe Davis, I think, for most Jaguar observers out there, has disappointed in his receiving numbers. Has he done a good job, like in blocking and some of the other areas of the game when you watch the film?
Yeah, he's done okay, but he's been a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
I think, and I had high expectations for Gabe. I thought he was going to be really a perfect skill set fit for the offense because you had, two kind of guys that could work the middle of the field in Parker Washington and Christian Kirk. And then you were going to have a guy that could take the top off of the defense and Brian Thomas Jr. And then Gabe also had the ability to do some of that deeper stuff, but he did it in a different way. He's kind of crafty, veteran guy, big body, could body some people up. And, the drops were an issue. Some of the body language issues with the quarterback I didn't like over the last couple of weeks. I just think a big disappointment. And, it's unfortunate that he had the knee injury. I guess it was reported to be a meniscus.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can get back to 100% next year. He's got a 3-year contract with the Jaguars. And, he's got a skill set. That fits, and I think he's just got to do a better job with his football team going forward, though, once he gets back out on the field.
All right, let's get into it. Check the tape Tuesday, 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. Logs, here we go. We'll begin with Paul in Mayport to kick things off this morning. Good morning, Paul.
Hey, good morning. Why isn't Doug Peterson, Trent Baalke, and the other guys fired here? I don't know what Shad's waiting on right now. This team is a disgrace to the city. I've been a fan for 30 years. I even cheered for that bum Lageman you got on the show right now.
All right. Thanks, Paul. You're an idiot, okay? We just went, honestly, I
don't mind being called a bum.
What did you do? Look, we just went through. We can't speak for when Shad Khan's going to do anything, but Paul wanted to get his shot across the bow, whatever. All right, so you don't mind being called a bum, Paul. You're
maybe it makes them, if it makes them feel better, hey, Paul, more power to you, brother.
All right.
Here's a suggestion. Go to Singleton's, get a shrimp lunch and feel better about yourself.
All right. That's a self-loathing dude there. Bill on the south side, you're up next. Go ahead, Bill.
Good morning. See, I was just calling about that. I feel like our fan base is becoming too toxic because I seen something on X about Shad Khan sell the team. I don't know what's wrong with this fan base. Because I was listening to Happy Hour yesterday. Like Tony and Pete said, what's the point of firing them now? What's the point of what's going to solve? Like Tony said, it's going to get rid of the questions for the media. It's not point of firing them now. This might well keep them throughout the season. And then I also wanted to have a positive note on Doug Peterson. I know this sounds crazy, but I just want to appreciate what he did for Trevor and the offense. I think he elevated Trevor that 1 year, 2022. Because without him, I don't think we would see a good Trevor. He made Trevor see things. He made Trevor understand things better. So I just wish this fan base would just come to reality and just let all the frustrations out.
Logs, I'll focus on this aspect of Bill's call there. Do we not appreciate what Doug Peterson has done to help develop Trevor Lawrence enough?
Well, look, I think there's some people that appreciate him and there's some people that don't appreciate where the football team is at. And I think you can have both. You can appreciate Doug and then also not appreciate the job that he's done this year. That's fair. That's your right as fans and more power to you to have that belief. So, I think people are entitled to feel how they want to feel. Look, if you want to call me a bum, if you think I'm a bum, great. If you think Mike Dempsey and Tony and Pockets are bums, great.
I can take.
But I will say this, look, I think the one thing we all have in common, look, we love our football team, and I love this football team. And I'm not happy where they are right now. The fan base is not happy where they are right now. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating because we've had, a year here and a year there over the last couple decades to where this football team has been good. And it's disappointing that we can't find a way to find some consistency and be a team that can compete year in and year out. That's disappointing. And there's got to be a way to find a way to get there. And if you're accepting the one good year out of 5, then that's not good enough in my book. It's not.
Do you feel like what we saw this year before, obviously, the injury a couple weeks ago with Trevor Lawrence, do you feel like you were watching a Trevor Lawrence that was taking another step forward, right, in this offense? Because I think that does speak to exactly what we're talking about with is Doug helping him. at this point in his career. I'm not sure exactly what the answer to that is, given what we saw it look like for Trevor Lawrence this season already.
Yeah, and that's, go back to the Philadelphia game, Tony, the last throw at the end of the game. I mean, what the hell was that? So disappointing on so many levels. I mean, if that's a primary, what the hell are we doing calling that play? I mean, second of all, if the quarterback, if that's the primary, what the hell are we doing throwing the ball? You know what I mean? So there's a couple things that were disappointing on that. And look, I still have a belief in Trevor. I really do. I think he's a good football player, but we got to help him. Got to help him a couple different ways. I mean, got to get more consistent up front. I mean, it was very clear that the Detroit Lions owned the trenches on both sides of the ball. And if we think we're good enough to compete consistently, week in and week out in the trenches with what we have right now, after watching what we've seen so far this year, we're not there. We got to be better. We got to be so much better. Look at Jared Goff. I mean, because a lot of people want to criticize Trevor, and look, I get it. You want to have better results. But you look at Jared Goff's journey. I mean, traded from a team that went to a Super Bowl. They basically gave up on him, said that he can't take us there. Well, Detroit Lions picked him up and said, hey, look, we understand what he is, and we're going to help him. And I think they've done an amazing job of helping Jared Goff. And not only just schematically, but personnel-wise. Are we doing the same thing for Trevor? I mean, right now, no. And to me, we got to be better. I mean, got to be better as a whole organization, because right now we're falling way short.
All right, let's get one more in before the next break, and that's Eric in Savannah on Jaguars Today. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. I think we all agree. 52-6 on Sunday is enough. Going 3-14 in our last 17 games is enough. So change is definitely on the way. But may I ask, are we doing ourselves a disservice by not making some kind of change now to succeed the transition? If not, but to see if we can regain the focus and attention of the locker room. The next regime will need some reliable videotapes to truly be capable of assessing this team. And I'm afraid at this rate, the lack of effort by the players will present our future regime half reliable tape on our team to make the best decisions going forward.
All right, Eric, thank you. I mean, it's similar to what we've discussed here, but I thought it was well put, at least, Logs, that, change. Maybe does that light a fire, or do you like you said, this offense helping Trevor? Maybe we have another play caller. Maybe we have some different ideas. Maybe we emphasize Mike McCoy more. Maybe I don't know what the answer is exactly. Maybe Doug Peterson takes it all on himself. But what about Eric's point about, just if we keep doing the exact same thing, what are we going to learn new about this team over the final month and a half?
Well, I think like in this past game, I think you're going to have a lot to evaluate from a film standpoint. You're going to have a lot to evaluate from a film standpoint going forward. I mean, when you have no hope of making the playoffs, I think it's a great opportunity to evaluate a lot of what's in guys' hearts going forward. And so you're going to have plenty to evaluate there. But as far as doing something different, look, like I said before, I'm all for doing something different. Whether that's, tweaking what your coaching staff is going to do, whether that's tweaking the lineup, whether it's tweaking the scheme, but the one thing that you can't do is you can't completely reinvent the wheel here. You're talking about a bye week with limited opportunity to even be with your players and coming back from the bye week. And the reality is a lot of people kind of don't understand this. They're like, okay, in a bye week, you can change everything because you got time. Well, the reality is they have maybe 2 practices this week, and then next week you're going to have 3 practices leading up to a game. I mean, how much can you actually change?
Yeah, and they're not even going to practice today. Doug Peterson said he was going to bring them in to get some work, but he said, no, we're going to get them out so they can enjoy the week, and they can get away from me, I can get away from them, and so they're getting cut loose early today. Logs is the path that they're taking.
Yeah, and I heard that, and I also heard that Doug talked about how team was tired, and They played a lot of games, and they had a trip to London and all that kind of stuff. And look, I get the trip to London, but the reality is that that's why you have the opportunity to get rest when you get home. And everybody else in the league has been playing games too. So what makes you tired is losing. That's what makes you tired. Because it's mentally, it's physically draining when you lose. If you're winning, you know what? There wouldn't even be a mention of, well, we're tired. We had a trip to London and, we played 11 games or whatever. It's the losing that makes you tired.
All right, Jeff Lageman here. It is a Check the Tape Tuesday. We'll continue to take your calls and tweets and other social media postings and questions for Jeff in whatever form they come in. Just keep it clean, and you've done an okay job with that so far today. 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines on a Check the Tape Tuesday. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle. It's the time of year all our customers love. At Garber Auto Mall, every 2024 must go. Take advantage of thousands in discounts on all new Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Ford. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle. Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjax.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Hey, gang, Prosser here. Telling you once again about Chad and Sandy Newman. Mortgage rates are down, creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. So maybe you want guaranteed no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. They can handle that. You see, Chad and Sandy can take every problem you think you have and replace it with a promise. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. The success stories are rolling in. Mike and Lisa in McCormick. We inherited a family home that came with equity but also a mortgage. We needed to sell fast to avoid extra expenses on a second mortgage. We heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. Everything they say on the radio is true. The home sold in 3 days for full asking price. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
Jaguars fans, want to meet some of your favorite players? Coke Florida, Publix Supermarkets, and the Jags are giving you the chance. Join 1010XL at Publix, 170 Village Commons Drive, St. Augustine, Tuesday, November 19th at 5. For autographs, pictures, raffles, and more. Get off the sidelines and get to Publix to grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola, Coke Zero Sugar, or any of your favorite Coca-Cola beverages using Publix digital app. The Jaguars and Coke Florida. There's magic when we cheer together at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation, with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
Cooking with Prisco.
These things are wonderful. You're going to love it. Have a rolling.
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives. Focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. NFIPC.
Are you an experienced plumber or welder with MedGas certification and you're tired of being undervalued? It's time to make a move to Local 234 plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. With the best pay in the business, you'll earn $36.50 an hour. With benefits, that's almost $50. It's not just a job, it's a career that values you. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
Hey, Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more, and please drink responsibly.
In its final year, we encourage you to help create great futures for young people when you run or walk at Mackenzie's Run, Saturday, November 23rd. Join Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for a 5K and 1 mile fun run through the beautiful stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Enjoy food, live music, face painting, family fun, and more at our Runners Village. Register at mackenziesrun.org. Mackenzie's 5K and Fun Run, November 23rd. mackenziesrun.org.
Arrested? Got traffic tickets? DUI? License problems? Gun charges? Drug charges? If you've been charged with any crime, call me, criminal defense attorney Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Are the company's Zoom calls getting boring? Might be a good time to order some new logo caps or temporary tattoos. Check them out online at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Hayes Carlyon from The Frangie Show on the performance of the Jaguars defense under Ryan Nielsen.
It's disgusting. I honestly, I have no idea. Forget about Press Taylor. Forget about Doug Peterson and the offensive side of the ball for just a moment. How are they this awful on defense? You'd almost have to try to have this happen to you. You've got 11 professional men on the field at all times. How can this possibly happen?
The reaction of Hayes Carlyon on Monday. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, check the tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman. Logs, let's dive right back into it. Time's a wasting, man. People have questions. Paul on Blue Sky asks, simple, very to the point. Do you feel like the Jaguars have hit rock bottom as a franchise after that performance?
No, I don't think rock bottom would be the right description. I think rock bottom was, if you look in the history of the Jaguars franchise, the year that Urban Meyer was there, probably in my book.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I think they've got some. Do you feel like there's a good nucleus of this on this team, like that, an attractive nucleus that if you had, the right pieces added to it, this team could turn around relatively quickly, or not?
Yes, yeah, I think there's some good players on this team, but I don't think it's the most talented team, that's ever been assembled in Jaguars history.
So you're not the one who said that?
Oh, I didn't say that.
Okay. I'm just asking because Doug Peterson is on the record now as saying he didn't say it, and so is Jeff Lageman. No, Jeff Lageman did not come up with that, and I think.
Look, I think you got some good players on this team. I mean, you do, but the reality is you also have some players that I think the expectation is that they were good players, but they're not playing like good players right now. I mean, on defense. You got three guys that I think are considered, big money guys and talented players, and I would consider replacing them, at least temporarily. You know, I mean, Armstead, I would consider cutting his reps or moving him to the inside position where he belongs. I think Darby, I would play Monteric Brown ahead of him. I would still have Darby playing. But, I mean, when you're a target for teams going into games, I mean, that's a problem. Devin Lloyd looked lost again this past game, and it's not the first game that he's looked lost before. So I would play Ventrell Miller. I mean, there's things you can do to try to jumpstart, and get some success as a defensive unit, and I think you've got to do it. And this whole conversation that Ryan Nielsen has about, we're like hockey team, we're going to rotate everybody. Look, stop. It's the NFL, and you've got good players, and some are better than others. And I'm okay with the rotational part when you're just trying to give your top end player a break, so that he can perform at his best. But it's not because to have a rotation for rotation's sake. I mean, people have rotated in the league forever, and I think that he's starting to dial it in a little bit more. But I mean, I never really understood that mentality that, hey, we don't have a depth chart and we're going to roll guys in. Sorry, I'm just not a fan of that. Because
to your
the
point,
reality is the frontline guy is better than the second team guy, and the second team guy is better than the third team guy.
Agreed. All right. The next man up thing is such you got to say something, because, I mean, you have no choice if a guy gets hurt, but there's a reason he's a backup, usually, right? Now, to your point, Devin Lloyd played 71 out of 78 snaps this week, okay? Foye only played 65. Make it make sense. Ventrell Miller played 37, which is roughly half of what Devin Lloyd played, and he's all over the box score compared to Devin Lloyd. He makes more plays in half the snaps than Devin Lloyd makes when he's out there. It's mind-boggling why Ventrell doesn't get more snaps at this point. 91%. This is a week after the last few weeks. Foye's been in the 93, 90, 100%. When we had 84 snaps last week, this week down to 83%, which is back where he was at the beginning of the year, which make sense. All right, let's go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying, you were saying make it make sense. I'm like,
yeah. It was more rhetorical than anything. Like, can anyone make it make sense? Let's go to Charles on the west side next here on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Charles.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, Jeff, in your long experience in the NFL, I mean, I wanted to ask you that if and when there's a regime change, will we as fans and you guys as the media, will people start talking at that point? And, will we find out kind of what was behind the epic collapse last year and this year? So, I'm not looking for like juicy fight details or anything like that, but just stuff that we don't know now. Will you guys find out? And roughly how long after the regime change will we start?
What are we thinking? There's somebody on the grassy knoll. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it just didn't play well.
Or anything like that. I mean, just like, what was happening was like bulky interfering with the personnel, with the player decisions, like Mason not getting in the game.
No. Look, we talked about it. I mean, we said what happened. I mean, the team had an injury to their quarterback. The play of those around the quarterback weren't good enough to make up for his injury. Trevor didn't play great, turned the ball over. Your defense wasn't jam up at the end of the stretch. And when they faced adversity, they didn't handle it. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, there's no hidden mystery, behind the scene of why they collapsed and lost 5 out of their last 6 games last year. Pretty straightforward. It's football. Okay, it's not rocket science. There's no like Clue, you got all these different characters, that are behind the scenes, doing things. None of that exists. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
No lead pipe in Trent Baalke's desk drawer, you're saying?
No.
All right.
No.
Professor Plum.
I guess the question would become,
do you remember
Jeff,
all the characters in that game, by the way?
No.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Come on. Colonel Mustard.
Colonel Mustard.
Professor Plum. Mrs. White, right? Miss Scarlet. Mrs. Peacock was the blue one. And Mr. Green. Bam!
Mike Dempsey, you're on a roll, man.
Don't try him on the
Don't
Clue
try me on a board
trivia.
game, Logs. Come on.
Have you played Clue a few times in your life, Mike?
I guess too many.
Right. And I think, Jeff, what you just went through very much explains what happened to the team last year, right? And why it collapsed down the stretch. And I think all those reasons we've been through over and over. Why is it happening again now to the football team? The quarterback wasn't hurt till 2 weeks ago. Right? They made changes during this offseason. Why was all the negative momentum they had last year, why does that seem to carry into 2024?
I think the big reason is that the defense has taken a major step back this year. Major step back. Look, criticize Mike Caldwell all you want. The defense that he had last year and the year before that, significantly better than where they are right now. And the amount of takeaways that they got over the last couple of years, I mean, it's not even close. So that would be reason number one that I would say, and then also the execution at key moments by the offense. And the offense has been inconsistent. You know, they run to get the ball really well for a couple games, and then all of a sudden you can't find a running game. And, the last two games I think are very easy to explain on offense, and that you've got Mac Jones and he's not playing well, and you don't have a running game to support him. So pretty easy in the last couple of weeks. But prior to that, given the opportunity, the offense had many. Tony, go back to Miami. Let's go to the first week. Okay, you fumble the ball. So what? Okay, teams give the ball up all the time, right? Buckle up, and at the end of the ball game, it was like 4 minutes to go, and you got the ball in your hands.
Yeah.
Go win it.
Yeah.
Go win it. Right? Go win it.
I mean, even after
Same
the fumble,
thing.
you're up 10.
Yes. It's the same thing in Philadelphia. Ball in your hands, down by, 5? Go win it. It's just like, so, I mean, it's not that hard. Got to play better defense, and you got to capitalize the key moments on if you're on offense, and then also, plain and simple, you got to find some consistency on offense. And right now, there's not any consistency, and you can't sit there and say, well, look, we lost Christian Kirk, and we lost. No, other teams in the league deal with that, and it's not like this team has had more injuries than any other team in the National Football League. I don't think that's the case.
All right, back to the lines we go. Let's go Tom in St. Augustine next up. Hello, Tom.
Hey, guys. Jeff, we've seen over the last few years Lynch take over San Francisco as GM. Then we saw Rick Spielman have a position above the GM in Detroit. Both of them have seemed to work very well. When I listen to the radio here in town, you and Tony not only love the team, love the area, but you know more football than everybody else that's on the radio combined. I know that you can't, quote unquote, tamper with coaches until a certain period of time. But when you start to add to the GM role, can that role be filled at any point in time that would give someone a head start? So let's call it tomorrow you're named a president or whatever, you or Tony. You would then have, obviously, access to all practices between now and the end of the year that would give you a little more knowledge than maybe you have now with some of the players that aren't playing a lot. And is that a structure that you like, where Rick Spielman went into Detroit?
Hey, Rick Spielman
obviously turned.
Rick Spielman has not worked for Detroit. I just looked this up.
That's not the
Rick
structure
Spielman
of Detroit.
has never worked for Detroit, and he worked as a scout there in the early '90s. So he's never been their executive vice president or anything in their front office.
Yeah, Detroit has the structure that they have a general manager in place, and he's a very good one. It's Brad Holmes. And there is no EVP over Brad Holmes or anything like that. And throwing my name out there as a possibility of doing that, I appreciate that, but I'm happy where I am. Okay,
Isn't that position subject to the Rooney Rule anyway? You can't just name somebody to that, can you?
I would assume so.
Wouldn't you have to interview a certain amount of candidates, a certain amount of minority candidates to satisfy the Rooney Rule?
I think you're right. I mean, if the team wanted to go out there, let's say, and hire somebody and like what Tom Coughlin was in an EVP type of role. I mean, with Tom Coughlin, I think didn't they have to do that with him?
Thought they did.
Positive on
I
that.
thought they did. But again, yes. Anyway, what about in general, the idea of having somebody that is between Shad Khan and the general manager level, whomever the general manager happens to be, just as a general concept? How do you feel about that?
I think there's a lot of ways to win, and there's never been one way that's okay, this is the only way you're going to win if you have an EVP. No, I think you can win with a general manager in place, and where the general manager has the power over the head coach, also where the general manager and head coach both report to ownership. I think there's a lot of formulas that can work. Look at Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens that have been great for many years. They've got consistency. They've got, I think, two really good general managers in both places and two great head coaches that have been consistent. So I don't think there's one way to do it, Mike, to answer the question. I think there's a lot of ways to do it, but you have to have the right people and you have to have the right leadership, because if you don't have the right people in place, it's hard to win. And plain and simple, you gotta, and it's hard to build something like that. Look at like Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and let's start with Pittsburgh. Look, they've been good for a long time. And so I think they've got a formula, and their ownership has been really diligent about trying to keep that culture in place. With Baltimore, it's a little different. It wasn't exactly the most successful organization when they made the move from Cleveland. It was an organization that was struggling. And ownership did a really good job of putting some people in place. And, you give a lot of credit to Ozzie Newsome for kind of having a big, his handprints are all over that organization. And then Eric DeCosta ended up being raised under Ozzie Newsome, and he ended up taking over that role of Ozzie Newsome, and Ozzie Newsome's presence is still felt in the organization. And you got a wildly consistent head coach that has lost coordinator after coordinator, but they still continue to win. And so there's a lot of ways that work, and the Jaguars right now, it's not working. Whatever has to happen to make it work needs to be done.
All right, Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Take advantage of his expertise. If you've got questions, we'll try to answer them to the best of our ability, particularly Jeff. So bring him to the table at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hour 2, straight ahead on 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors, a company that delivers every single time exactly what you're expecting. Just the highest quality product in their industry. Don't take it from me. Take it from Consumer Reports, who does grade Pella as #1 in all the major window categories. I wanted to replace the windows in my home after a golf ball came crashing into my living room. Well, guess what? I went with Pella, and I've been so satisfied. The house looks great. It's more energy efficient. What's your next step if you're considering a change? Go to PellaJacks.com online or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway.
Jaguars Today for the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. When you don't want to wait till tomorrow for analysis of today's game, get it 2 hours after the final whistle. Hacker Leon and Coach Campo bring you the window world of Northeast Florida 5th quarter. Presented by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Movember is Cancer Awareness Month, so educate yourself on the risk factors for prostate and other cancers. Take charge of your health. Many cancers are highly preventable. Trust the physicians at Ackerman Cancer Center. AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Picking here with a message from Zero Res. You gotta just love this time of the year as we reflect on the things that matter most. Families, homes, the holidays, and of course football. They're very grateful for you all, the good people of Jacksonville, and they want to thank you. So get ready for the holidays. Book today, and Zero Res will clean your carpets for only $49 a room. Plus, they'll give you 25% off your tile cleaning. This one fills up fast, so book now on both carpet and tile. Zero Res. Fill it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Every weekend is a stone cold sports weekend. Hey, Dan Hicken here. Watch for The Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook, and I'll help you put together your sports weekend.
Weekend with Dan brought to you by Stone Core. We do the outdoors better.
Jaguars fans, want to meet some of your favorite players? Coke Florida, Publix Supermarkets, and the Jags are giving you the chance. Join 1010XL at Publix, 170 Village Commons Drive, St. Augustine, Tuesday, November 19th at 5. For autographs, pictures, raffles, and more. Get off the sidelines and get to Publix to grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola, Coke Zero Sugar, or any of your favorite Coca-Cola beverages using Publix digital app. The Jaguars and Coke Florida. There's magic when we cheer together at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Homeowners, listen up. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Hey, it's Prosser here, and the Fed has dropped the rates again. The election is over, and Loan Pronto has APRs in the low 5s for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans. If your current mortgage rate is over 6%, or if you're in the process with another lender, don't settle. Call Loan Pronto now for a second opinion. Lock a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. And if you act now, you won't make your first payment till February. This 5-minute call saves homeowners an average of $5,000, lower rates and lower fees. So get your Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. It's Loan Pronto. Call them at 904-999-1508, or you can visit loanpronto.com. That's Loan Pronto at 904-999-1508, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Jeff Lageman here. Now that football season is here, make sure your ride can get to that tailgate or away game safely and dependably. You can trust the ASE certified professionals at any of the 27 independently owned Napa Auto Care Centers and the quality Napa parts they use. Napa Auto Care Centers can handle everything: oil changes, air conditioning, brakes, engines, transmissions, and more. Napa Auto Care offers a nationwide 24-month, 24,000-mile peace of mind warranty on most repairs. Find a Napa Auto Care Center near you. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com.
This is Hayes Carline for SkyLife Elite. Are you tired of canceled flights, unruly passengers, and layovers? Call my friends at SkyLife Elite. Consider using private charter flights for your next adventure. Yes, you can afford it. Make your own schedule. Fly direct. Drive your car to Craig Airport and get directly on the plane. SkyLife Elite can make that happen. Call 490-9332. Go to flyskylife.com and find them on social media. Fly SkyLife Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
High Flying Jack O'Brien here, sports fans. And now I'm going to share the absolute right way to pronounce Kuhn flowers. It's Kuhn. Kuhn flowers. Remember, use Kuhn flowers.
Tailgate special alert. 3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, sponsored by Southern Oak Insurance. During his press conference, Gator head coach Billy Napier outlined the challenge Ole Miss presents.
Ole Miss has got playmakers on offense, obviously a veteran quarterback. Defensively, he's got some disruptive players up front. Overall, just a very veteran team.
The Seminoles are set to face Charleston Southern this weekend as the show must go on as the Seminoles near the end of the 2024 season. For head coach Mike Norvell, the changes are about moving forward.
As an entire group, I mean, everybody's excited for the opportunity to go get better, and that's what our focus is.
The win over LSU continues to have a rippling effect for the Florida football program. The Gators landed 4-star defensive lineman, former Georgia Bulldog commit Stephon Shrivers, according to ESPN. The 4-star defensive lineman is ranked the 24th best in the country at his position. That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 11:01, it's 75 degrees. Time at 10, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler, Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman is brought to you by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, for those who say I never admit when I'm wrong, I immediately, as soon as the caller brought up Spielman, thinking that because Rick Spielman had, interviewed or been discussed as an executive vice president here, that's the Spielman he was talking about. He was talking about Chris Spielman, the former Lions linebacker, who is a special assistant to the owner and CEO from 2020 until now. So there is that guy that is, even if he's not executive vice president in title.
And more in regard to the former player for the team.
Yeah, former player for that team who is a sounding board for ownership as a kind of a level in between ownership and the GM. So apologies for immediately assuming he's talking about Rick Spielman. Does that change your attitude towards that kind of position here in Jacksonville?
No, and I apologize as well. I thought he was talking about Rick. But
well,
anyway,
I snowballed it right into that, so you can blame me on that one easily.
Look, whether it's an EVP or special advisor to the owner, like I said, I think there are many structures that work, and the most important thing is making decisions that are in the best interest of the organization and not in the best interest of individuals. So I think that's a very good setup, whatever the title may be.
All right, so there you go. Just wanted to clear that up. My bad. Thank you to those on the text line who pointed that out again. Immediately, because of the connection we've had and discussed for the last several years with Rick Spielman, that's where my mind went, and my bad. Let's go to Leo in Mandarin next up at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Leo, what's up?
Hello, gentlemen. That was nice of you, Mike. Very nice of you.
It's occasional I do that, Leo. Very, very rare.
That was cool. Listen, I got a couple questions, and the second question is not as important now that you just brought that topic up. Okay, and I heard the disclaimer. Y'all don't know who's getting fired, when, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But let's just speculate a couple things here. Let's just kick something around. What if the holdup, for the change is this, And I'm not just trying to stir the pot. But what if somebody has went to the owner and said this, if you blow Balky out, if you fire Balky, there's a good chance that the new general manager you bring in here, what if he don't want Trevor Lawrence? What if he says, I can't deal with Trevor Lawrence. I want a guy out the draft. I want to trade for Joe Burrow. I want to trade for Josh Allen, whatever, right? Now, does Shah Khan, does he know, hey, say I've already fired Balky, right? You can't, you got to work with Trevor. You see what I'm saying? But what if the new GM doesn't want to? That's one question. And then, how y'all was just talking about Lloyd had all the snaps over, Ventrell.
Yeah.
And, so who makes that call in game? Is that done during the week? Does Balky call down during the game and say, hey, Moomin needs 10 plays, put him in? Does that happen, during the gameplay? Who makes that call of who gets on the field that day?
Logs, I assume that's Ryan Nielsen.
Yeah, I would assume it's the defensive coordinator or the linebackers coach. That's where it should be. The coaches should. I'm assuming that the general manager doesn't have the ability to communicate with sideline during game day, right? That's kind of one of a league rule kind of things. But yeah, I would assume that it's the coach. And ultimately, I would think that Doug Peterson would have that responsibility, right? Because he's the head coach.
Right. Ultimately, right. It falls under Doug, but plenty of head coaches delegate one side of the ball or the other to a coordinator. Right? It's not like I'm hands off here, but I don't think every head coach deals with the substitution patterns, like if they're an offensive-minded guy. Is Andy Reid telling Steve Spagnuolo who to put in on defense? I doubt that that's the case. To the first question, Logs, I would imagine, and this is my opinion, you tell me if you think differently, if you're interviewing a GM candidate, if that happens to be open, you're going to interview a GM candidate and say, this is your quarterback. And you're not hiring a guy unless he's on board with the guy that you just committed $275 million to, or am I wrong?
No, you got to have somebody that's going to be on board with that because of just the financial commitment is there. And then most importantly, Trevor's got a lot of upside. There's a lot of people that would love to work with Trevor Lawrence, whether it's, whatever position, whether it's coaching, personnel, whatever. He's got a lot of upsides. He's still a young player, and he's still got a lot of room to grow. I mean, I think in today's day and age, I think a lot of times we kind of just are a little bit quick to come to judgment instead of saying, "Hey, look, he's still a young player with a lot of room to grow." Let's not sit there and go, "Oh, he's no good." That's ridiculous.
No, I'm with you, and I think every time Mac Jones takes the field, Trevor Lawrence's stock rises, quite frankly. I mean, you're seeing a stark fall off from the production that they put out there. I mean, we all saw the comparison. Detroit in the first half this week produced more offensively than the Jaguars have in the last 8 quarters, basically. So, all right, Eric in St. Augustine next up here on Jaguars Today. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. On this Tuesday, you got to start looking towards the future. Meaning for changes and whatnot and draft talk. You got to start being more aggressive because I'm thinking about there are rumors that Bill Belichick wants to take the job in Jacksonville, but you have to keep in mind that Tom Brady would be the minority owner for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he may have a say-so into bringing in Bill Belichick.
Why would Tom Brady have a say-so in who the Jaguars hire for anything?
I think he's talking about with the Vegas Raiders.
Oh, with Vegas. Okay, I see. I don't think I got you. All right.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is it's for the future because we're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, but Eric, there's no vacant. I mean, if you're asking Logs to weigh in on coaching candidates, I don't think that's what we're doing here, Logs.
And we'll accept your vote that you want it to happen now because of those things. I get it. Like, those are big factors for you for why they need to make the decision now. They haven't made that decision.
Right, and when they do, we'll discuss all the candidates as far as that goes. And trust me, I think it's coming, but I don't even know why we need to go down the Belichick road at this point in time, Logs, unless you feel like you want to weigh in on that.
No, I mean, really, there's no opening. And look, Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. And by the way, I think he does a great job in the media. I think he's must-watch TV. And so from a selfish standpoint, if he were to get back into the coaching profession, I'm not talking about him in Jacksonville, but if he were to get back in the coaching profession, then we're going to go back to listening to the same old boring Belichick. I like the way he is now.
Yeah, look, by the way, didn't exactly flourish after Tom Brady left, and his personnel decisions left a lot to be desired on top of that as well. So, look, I get it. People want to talk. We're not certainly the purpose of bringing Jeff in isn't to discuss hypothetical coaching candidates when there's not even an opening. It's dealing with what we're dealing with right now in this moment, and I think we try to make that clear this morning, but
it's only the third time on this show we've gone through this exact cycle.
And I get it. That's right. But, like, I know we're not looking ahead, but let's look ahead. Yeah. I mean, look, Tony and I, tomorrow, you want to speculate on stuff? We'll be more than happy to do that. I'm not, that's not the position that we bring Logs in to fill here, at least not while there's no opening. Richard in Riverside up next here on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Go ahead, Richard.
Hey, I got a Deadpool shirt that says "Believe in Yourself," and the Jaguars. I've been a fan for 30 years, and I think that changes are coming, but we can't speculate yet. We just got to hope for the best results. Go Jags!
Okay, appreciate it. I mean, we can. We're just not trying to put Jeff in that position today. You can speculate all you like, Richard. Tony and I will speculate plenty. Because I do think change is absolutely. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it impossible? Is there a 0% chance that Doug Peterson's not the coach of this team next year? I don't think it's a 0% chance.
No.
I don't know what that percent is, but that's kind of where we're at right now. Logs, this one on social media, more to blame. Talent, meaning the material, the players that they have to work with, or the scheme and how they're being utilized?
I love this debate, because everybody wants to have their finger on one thing and say, that's the reason why we're losing. Let's change that. And it's never the case. I mean, it's you have to be able to put your finger on multiple spots about how the organization can be better, the team can be better, et cetera. I mean, could they be better in certain spots, coaching wise? Yes. Can they be better from a personnel standpoint in spots? Yes. Can they have better performance with the personnel that they have? Yes. I mean, you know, when you're losing a game in which you have allowed a touchdown on 7 consecutive possessions, and you're not even in the ball game, and the effort, because the effort wasn't great. I don't want to say people quit, but the effort wasn't great. When you have the effort that you did, and you're talking about an organization that's won 3 games in the last, 14 games or something like that? What's the total? 3 wins in the last how many games, Mike?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
16, 17 games?
Something like
I think it's a season at this point, basically. Yeah.
So it's 3 wins in the last 17 games. When you have 3 wins in the last 17 games.
Yeah, that's right. The Carolina win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. When you got 3 wins in the last 17 games, I mean, it ain't one thing. You know, you've got a couple issues going on. You know, maybe you have multiple issues going on, and you got to be better than this. I mean, this is as disappointing of a season, I think, in Jaguars history as that there is. You know, I think last year we were looking at that year as, you know, the worst collapse in franchise history. Well, I mean, if you're looking at just seasons in its entirety, where's this one headed towards? I mean, right now, if the season were to end today, you would say that it's the most disappointing season to date, I would think. Just as a whole.
Right. In terms of expectations versus results. Correct. It's certainly trending in that direction. Let's get one more in before this next break. That'll be Chuck out at the beaches. Chuck, you're on Jaguars Today. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I don't know if anybody's asked this, but you guys think Trevor plays after we get back from the bye week, or is what
Great question.
That is a good question.
Back is he ought to be on the shelf?
Yeah, good question, Chuck. Thank you.
Yeah, great question, and I don't think anybody knows the answer to that. You know, it's a bye week. You're not going to get any injury updates or anything of that nature, just because the team doesn't have to provide any of that. You know, I think the next update that we're going to get probably is next Monday, maybe next Wednesday when we see a practice report. You know, but I don't think we're going to get any information on that until then.
So if he is healthy and just the act of playing is not putting him at risk, right? Obviously, you get hit in any area, you can have a setback, whether it's a pre-existing thing or whatever. Just you in a season that's lost, okay? Let's say he's not ready to play against Houston, okay? And they lose that game, and they're now mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, which is what the New York Times playoff chart indicates would be the case. 0% chance you can make the postseason. But now he's ready to go. Do you want him to play those final 5 games because he needs the reps, or are you of the mind, because some people are, that, hey, this is a lost season, let's not set ourselves back if Trevor Lawrence then gets something. Maybe he does need surgery on this down the road, or maybe he picks up some other injury. Where are you on what happens in a scenario where they're completely eliminated and maybe he's not 100%?
If there's no risk of further damage and it's fixable in the offseason, and in other words, so if he continues to play, you're not doing any further damage, or it's not going to affect the next year, I think you play. You know, because if not, then what about the other, 52 guys on the team that are playing hurt, and some of them may need surgery at the end of the year as well? So what kind of a message is that sending to them? Well, you know what, you're just not important enough, or, we don't need you next year. It just sends the wrong message. And I think as an individual, you've got to be willing to play. I mean, you're paid to play football games. And I think when you're given the opportunity to be there for your teammates, you need to be there for your teammates. And so, but now if there's a risk of further injury, and that complications could arise because Trevor decides to play, then okay, that's different. But the reality, because here's the reality: if the Jaguars were in the playoff hunt and there was a risk of Trevor making the shoulder worse, you know what you would do? damn with the risk. Let's go, man. We're in the hunt. We're going to try to make it. Well, if you're not in the hunt, you're not going to make it. Okay, well, it's time to shut it down. But if there's no risk of further injury, hey, look, I got to be better. I'm paid to play football games. My teammates are playing. I got to play. That's kind of my attitude.
All right, fair enough. Chuck, thank you for the call. 641-1010 if you'd like to get in this morning. And it is a Check the Tape Tuesday. We'll go to some of the social media questions coming in for you this morning, Logs, as well. With Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey, along with Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. Someone's going to win a tailgate combo pack from Southern Steer Butcher, valued at $100, and it could be you. Yes! Every month you'll have a shot at a Corona tailgate tent with a cooler, chair, and a collectible football. It's the ultimate tailgate. Enter at 1010XL.com.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you today about having a grateful spirit. As we journey in life, it's so easy to take things for granted. But I want to encourage you to never get tired of thanking God for your blessings. Take time also to thank the people in your life who have and are helping you to become the person you are today. Don't go through life complaining. Go through life praising.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohnthedivine.com.
Jaguars fans, want to meet some of your favorite players? Coke Florida, Publix Supermarkets, and the Jags are giving you the chance. Join 1010XL at Publix, 170 Village Commons Drive, St. Augustine, Tuesday, November 19th at 5. For autographs, pictures, raffles, and more. Get off the sidelines and get to Publix to grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola, Coke Zero Sugar, or any of your favorite Coca-Cola beverages using Publix digital app. The Jaguars and Coke Florida. There's magic when we cheer together at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
Hey, Gabe Prosser here to save you some cash. Maximize your home sale now with the market experts who deliver more money in less time, and those experts are Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. You don't have to worry. The worries are relieved with Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts we are trusting and recommending with the sale of your home. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Mortgage rates are down. It's time to create your market. Marvin in Cobblestone writes, my siblings and I moved our parents to Maryland so they can get some extra help as they get older. Next, we had to sell the home to get them some financial help for their extra care. We hired Chad and Sandy, and they delivered big. Chad and Sandy's team got our home sold in 7 days above asking price. You can too. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, it's what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
Learn more about the beautiful sport of soccer and its impact on the River City. What a beautiful thing to behold.
Get an hour of soccer talk on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour.
That's all I want to know. Tuesday at 6 p.m. on 1010 a.m.
The holidays are around the corner, and the last thing you want is a septic emergency. Call Duck Duck Rooter and schedule your septic tank pump out or full system inspection. 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. November is Veterans Month, and Awaken 180 is honoring all active duty veterans and spouses with 15% off our entire program, plus the same free support for life all clients receive. Celebrate Veterans Month with 50% off at awaken180weightloss.com.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com, powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World,
simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
This is Corona Premier. Just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. It's a light beer that... Wait, this is a light beer? But we should really tell people about... Right, that's why I'm here. Sorry. Corona Premier, unexpectedly, light beer.
Welcome to ABS Advanced Business Solutions, your local authorized technology partner and home to Xerox copiers.
Advanced Business Solutions. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Hey, yeah, I want to shoot, baby. Shoot.
Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, Check the Tape Tuesday continues along here. Logs, I guess Mason Smith just dealing with that ankle issue. You talked earlier about the run defense not being up to snuff. Haven't seen much out of the second-round pick this year. Somebody asked, did he really look as good as we were led to believe in training camp? And what do you make of the rookie season of Mason Smith to this point?
I thought he looked really good at times in training camp, especially in the one-on-one pass rush, which is where the Jaguars kind of had a deficiency at. So I thought he would be able to help them. And then the season started. He had some opportunities as an active player, and he didn't do very well, so they deactivated him. Then he sustained what was supposedly an ankle, maybe a high ankle in practice, and then he was inactive. And then this past week, I thought Doug Peterson said that he was good to go, but it was just a matter of a numbers game, which tells me that he's not good enough to be active on game day. So that's disappointing when you have a second-round pick that hasn't gotten active much on game day in the first year. So I don't really understand all of that. For me, I still, again, I'm not trying to go back to this and beat it up, but you've got a player that's played his entire career almost as a defensive tackle in Eric Armstead. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't play very well at the edge. Fact. Just watch the film. He's not an edge player. And I don't understand why he's playing edge when we don't have what we need in the middle as far as that type of a player, and he's not moving inside. Especially like Mason Smith is not even active. So, okay, hey, look, it's not working out. Let's move Eric into the inside. And they're not doing that. I don't understand that.
And I don't understand the Mason Smith thing, Logs, with, whether he's ready and whatever. He was listed as questionable this week. So it seems like mixed messaging too. Is he ready to go? Is he still hurt?
I think, look, from listening to Doug this past week, he gave the impression that it wasn't going to be a decision based on health. It was going to be a decision based on who they wanted to have active on game day. And so that tells me that they just felt that, whether it be Jordan Jefferson or Ledbetter or Devon Hamilton, they felt that Tyler Lacey, that they would be better options on game day.
Yeah, and to your point about Armstead, some numbers were going around yesterday. Basically, his pressure rate is triple when he plays defensive tackle compared to when he plays defensive end. So
that's not even close.
No,
it's not even close. I mean, he belongs inside, and I mean, and I don't know who came up with the bright idea that he could do really well on the edge. I mean, it's just.
Apparently, he decided that's where he wanted to play, and Trent Baalke's like, hey, let's sign that guy and let him pick what position he's playing. I mean, that seems to be what's come out. I mean, Ryan Nielsen said it a couple weeks ago. That's what the player indicated he wanted to do. Like, if that's the case, and that's not where you envision him, why sign him to a $30+ million contract to make him a backup defensive end, a backup at a position he hasn't played? It's a mind-boggling move.
One of the sayings I think that always has to be applied in any situation is, we're going to do, and write this down, Mike, quote, what's best for the team, end quote.
Yes.
Okay? And if you have a player and he wants to play defensive tackle, okay, but look, I mean, we want you to do what's best for the team, right? I mean, isn't that what's the most important thing?
Yes. Correct.
Are we going to have a player that, to go back a couple weeks ago, when who's going to start at running back? Well, I think the answer there should be, we're going to do what's best for the team. And learn that from Coughlin. He used that line in so many different applications, because the reality is that line applies across the board. We're going to do what's best for the team, and that has to be applied.
All right, hold that thought. Tony Smith going to take us around the rest of the NFL.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
The Carolina Panthers have announced that Bryce Young will remain the team starter coming out of their bye this weekend. The Panthers had won 2 games in a row heading into the bye with Young as their quarterback. Carolina running back Miles Sanders is week to week with an ankle injury. Cincinnati cornerback DJ Turner II is seeking a second opinion, but is feared to have suffered a fractured clavicle, which would keep him out for the rest of the season. Cleveland left tackle DeJuan Jones suffered a fractured fibula on Sunday, will miss the remainder of the season. Tampa Bay has opened the 21-day practice window for cornerback Jamel Dean as he continues to work back from a hamstring injury. In Kansas City has signed former New England wide receiver Tyquan Thornton to their practice squad. Thornton was released by the Patriots over the weekend, a second-round pick a couple of years ago.
And fast, man. I mean, blazing fast. But, I was looking at a thing the other day of all the guys that run like 4.3 or less, almost every single one of those, a wide receiver who's been drafted, who's run that at the combine, almost every single one's a bust. I mean, almost across the board. There are a lot of reasons for that we don't have to get into right now. But let's get Keith in St. Augustine before we hit the break here. He's been hanging on. Keith, you're on Jaguars Today. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning. I just wanted to comment that I'm a converted Jags fan. My family and I moved up here in 2022, and I kind of jumped on the Jags bandwagon while I rooted for both the Dolphins and the Jags. And then I went all in for the Jags, thinking, wow, I want a piece of this, with the coach and the way the team was on the uprise and won their division. I thought that this was a team that was on the upswing, and I'm just bamboozled by what has happened since then. I mean, from the collapse of last year and then this year, I guess I want to say to the Jag fans that the grass ain't greener on the other side, so hang in there.
All right, Keith, appreciate it. I guess that's a positive right there. I mean, it's tough, Logs, when you got a fan base that is going through to say, hey, you're not the only one. Well, we don't care, right? Why do we even have to be in that group? Why can't we thought we were climbing out of that with consecutive winning seasons, even though last year's was a disappointment, and to see it all. I mean, you just go tumbling right back to, unfortunately, same old Jags is how a lot of people feel right now. So.
Yeah, no, I get it. But the one area that Mike wanted to kind of touch on, because there is one positive from this game. Okay, one positive. Maybe you have covered it. Maybe you have.
Cam Little,
congratulations to him. franchise record was tied, 59-yard field goal by him, and he is really a strong talent. And the Jaguars definitely got a really good kicker when they got him, and the job that he's been doing for this football team has been tremendous. With 2 field goals, he's now 15 of 16 on the year, and then tying a franchise record, 59 yards in his first year. It's pretty impressive. And then also, that game, we actually mentioned in the broadcast that this was going to be a game that featured 2 of the best punters in the National Football League, because Logan Cook came into that game the first rated as far as net average, and then Jack Fox, the Lions punter, was second in that. And we got to see the talents of Logan Cook in that ball game. Unfortunately, we did not get to see the talents of Jack Fox in that ball game, since the Lions never punted in that game. But congratulations to Cam. Congratulations to Logan, because look, they're 2 good football players that are taking care of their job.
All right,
I do laugh that's right after a call saying I recently converted to the Jags, and then we have, hey, when I highlight this special team standouts, it's like, we are turning back the clock. Yeah.
By the way,
you know what, Tony? There's another positive in this game too. And it was good to see Brian Thomas Jr. get back to having some energy in the game. Even though the Detroit Lions were giving him a little extra attention, I thought he played really well. And he's a really good football player. In fact, this week, one of the things that I'm doing for the film room for next week is going back and look at some of the plays by Brian Thomas Jr., because he continues to amaze me. We all know that there's a lot of wide receivers that can have a little bit of a transition into the NFL and don't have success right away. And I thought that he would be a really good player as far as, that special player that can take the top off of the defense, but he has proven to be so much more. He really is learning the intricacies of route running and the subtleties of playing wide receiver. And I think you got to give some credit to not only the wide receivers coach, Chad Hall, but I think also just the presence of a Christian Kirk in that room, because Christian is an outstanding route runner. And I think that all of their influence on Brian Thomas Jr. has been immense this year, and he's playing at a spectacular level. He's an outstanding talent, and I look forward to watching him for years to come.
All right, we got to take our final time out here. We'll come back more with Jeff Lageman, including a few more of your calls, so hang on the line if you're there on a Check the Tape Tuesday. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality product. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Epic offers. Factory direct pricing on AC equipment from Epic Cool Heating and Air. Call 904-859-EPIC. Epic discounts for military, police, first responders, and 1010 listeners like you. Epic Cool Heating and Air.
Hey, Jacksonville Koozies, it's me, Soccer Sam, for Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizza is now open in Jacksonville, Florida, Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. Daily $10 deals, dine in with beer and wine, and delivery at salvatores.com. The famous Formoso family brings Salvatore's Pizza, Rochester's favorite pizza, including our 32-piece sheet pizza for your next event. Go with me, baby. Salvatores.com.
1 second left. Hackers are ready to score. Will your business defense hold? Double-check cybersecurity stops threats 24/7. Don't wait. Visit doublecheck.com today to schedule your free security consultation. Act now and stay protected.
Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, congratulating our Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Robert Trenier, senior cross country and member of the boys track team at Fletcher High. Robert is a member of the National Honor Society and has applied to attend the United States Military Academy at West Point.
Jaguars fans, want to meet some of your favorite players? Coke Florida, Publix Supermarkets, and the Jags are giving you the chance. Join 1010XL at Publix, 170 Village Commons Drive, St. Augustine, Tuesday, November 19th at 5 for autographs, pictures, raffles, and more. Get off the sidelines and get to Publix to grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola, Coke Zero Sugar, or any of your favorite Coca-Cola beverages using Publix digital app. The Jaguars and Coke Florida. There's magic when we cheer together at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Welcome to Rockville. North America's largest rock festival returns to the Daytona International Speedway in 2025 with Green Day, Korn, Shinedown, and Linkin Park. Plus Bad Omens, Incubus, Good Charlotte, Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, Pierce the Veil, Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Sublime, Hailstorm, I Prevail, Three Doors Down, Jimmy Eat World, Motionless in White, Bush, Chevelle, Mudvayne, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville takes over the Daytona International Speedway May 15th to the 18th, 2025. 5 stages, 4 days, and over 150 bands. 4-day, single-day camping and VIP passes on sale now at welcometorockville.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. No matter the weather, Triumph has an unbelievable selection of rides where you can get out and just enjoy the highway.
They do. The new Rocket is out with the new color schemes, the Tiger 1200, which has been revamped. These bikes are nice, gorgeous, and ready to ride.
And if you want to take a look at the selection, they can just roll into the showroom and see a full variety.
We've got them all in stock and ready to go.
So if you log on, cyclesofjacksonville.com, search the Triumph line, and then head into the showroom. You'll be impressed. Cycles of Jacksonville.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Introducing Gatorade Water. Alkaline and electrolyte infused for great taste. Gatorade Water, always in motion.
Find it at your local Winn-Dixie. For the athletes who give everything, nothing beats Gatorade, the studied, tested, and proven fuel of the world's greatest athletes. Gatorade Water, proudly supporting high school sports on the First Coast.
Atlantic Self Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Pete Prisco of CBS Sports with a thought on Jaguars owner Shad Khan.
He's done a lot to make this team competitive and given him every available asset he can, but he's too damn loyal. He's always been too loyal, and I think that's part of the problem. And until they start wising up to that, then everything else he does is going to be minimized because he's too loyal. And I'm not the only guy saying that. And I know a lot of people in that organization feel that. It's time for changes. And at times you sit there and say, well, what's the common denominator? Well, there's one common denominator we know of.
Pete Prisco of CBS Sports. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, Jeff Lageman here. Final 10 minutes or so of Check the Tape Tuesday. As look, I don't expect Jaguars' attitudes to cool down, or Jaguar fans' attitudes to cool down. They are hot right now, and understandably so, deservedly so. And they want change, and I think they are on the right path. I mean, in terms of what they want, not necessarily what they're going to get here, Logs. I mean, if put it this way, if nothing happens, let's say today, right, or this week, obviously, when you could put some new thoughts in there during the bye week, and I understand what you're saying, the players aren't there. I can't imagine after losing 52-6, what else could make Shad Khan make an in-season move if that is not going to be something? If nothing happens this week, you got to believe that this is what they're rolling with at least through the end of this season. Agree or disagree? Do we have Jeff? All right, not hearing you.
Hey,
there.
Mike,
we got you now.
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, you could end up having change tomorrow, and I mean, you just don't know. Just because, I mean, you don't know what Shad Khan's going to do. But I heard what Pete Prisco said during the break, and I think there's a lot of truth to what Pete says, and I want to echo this too, is that, Shad Khan has, a lot of times people want to get mad at him, and I get it. I understand it, because he is ultimately at the top of the food chain when it comes to making the decisions and the success of an organization. But, he has literally made every available resource possible to the football organization. I mean, every possible resource. I mean, or skimped or anything of that nature. And there's a lot of owners in the National Football League that you can't say that about. I mean, he literally has given everything that he possibly can for the football part of the organization to be successful. So you can't sit there and say, "Wow, he's a cheapo, and no, he's not helping." He's trying to make the right decision, and I get it that sometimes the decisions that are being made. But again, I also want people to appreciate that he is willing to give everything and anything for this team to have success.
All right, let's go to Will on the west side next here on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Go ahead, Will.
Hey, guys. Yeah, just wanted to keep talking kind of about the macro situation with ownership and, touching on, frankly, Sunday was horrible. But in my opinion, yesterday was to me, the most disappointing thing as a Jaguars fan. I'm curious if you guys were aware of this, but Shad Khan actually has the worst record in NFL history for any owner that's owned 100 games minimum since the Super Bowl era. And so it made me want to call because the other guy said he jumped on the bandwagon in 22. I've been old enough to know since about 07 in the Garrard year, and frankly, I'm just kind of sick of it, and the only common denominator is Shad Khan. And yesterday, the fact that he basically said to the fan base, assuming he doesn't make the changes you guys just referenced, he had a chance yesterday to show the fan base that what has gone on the last 16 games into last year plus this year isn't acceptable, to give us a little bit of hope for the games around the holidays. We still have 3 home games, planning to go to a couple of those. And he did it. And it's just really disappointing. Again, worst record in NFL history. He continues to make decisions that aren't working out, and then the ones that are clear as day that aren't working out, he keeps going with. So just wanted to let you guys know that and let the fan base know about the record thing, see if y'all were aware of that.
Yeah, we're well aware how bad it's been. Well, we've been covering it since day one. I mean, it's been, yes, I'm not arguing with anything Will said there, Logs, including I think a lot of people are disappointed because I think what took this to a higher level was the guy who works for NFL media, Ian Rappaport, acting like he's got some inside scoop on this, like major change. But the way he couched that report, could be coming, possibly is coming. There was nothing concrete in that whatsoever. But when people say, oh, Ian Rappaport's reporting it, he must be hearing something, and then it doesn't happen, I think people were set up for expectations that, whether they were created organically or he had a source or he heard something or I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. We can't speak for the owner. Like what you said, he's poured a lot of resources into this team, but this fan base right now is feeling like he is not understanding where their angst and upset is to the level it is at this point in time. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, I get it. And I think the whole, Ian Rappaport report, I think set people up for disappointment when nothing happened, right?
Yeah.
People were like, okay, this report's out there. That means that, he's probably going to do something especially if it's a really bad loss. And then
it was
really
the worst
loss happens. And
the worst ever.
History, and then people are expecting, okay, well, since all that came true, now he's definitely going to do something because Ian Rappaport said so. Well, no, he didn't. He just put something out there that would maybe stick and, in a lot of cases would have a chance of sticking on the wall. But the reality is that we don't know what Shad Khan is thinking. I do. I've got a pretty good idea what he's thinking, that he's not very happy right now. And so, I think change will come. I don't know what change that means. I don't know what that encompasses. But Shad is not going to sit back and go, okay, I'm satisfied with this. And for anybody that thinks that he's satisfied with where this football team is at right now, I don't know him very well, but I will tell you, there's no way that he's very satisfied with this, because you don't commit the resources that you do as an owner and get less than what you expected. There's no mistake in my mind that he is highly disappointed and that he wants to get this thing right.
All right, let's. We only got a couple minutes left. We got to quickly get in today's 10-10 take.
10-10 take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take, brought to you by
Double checked. Cybersecurity made simple.
All right, chosen this one for you, Logs, to end on. A little bit of maybe positivity or potentially from Dr. Cliffy on Twitter. Traditionally during the bye week, a lot of self-scouting takes place. What do you think will be a few takeaways from the film, bright spots specifically? What can the Jags hang their hat on and say, this is what we feel good about, if anything, going into this week?
It's a great question. And, I don't know if they've got anything that they can hang their hat on right now on either side of the ball, both offensively and defensively. I think special teams-wise, I think they're doing a very good job. But defensively, the problems have kind of circled around the entire unit, from pass defense to run defense to overall effort. I think offense, you better find a way to get Trevor Lawrence back in the lineup if you're going to have any chance of having some type of positivity down the road, because Mac Jones has been very disappointing in the two games and opportunities that he's had.
Really has been quiet on the old Mac Jones phone call front, surprisingly, in the last 2 weeks, where all the people telling us that he was better than Trevor Lawrence, that he needed to. Trevor was yesterday's news, and haven't heard from those folks in the last couple of weeks.
That's not an easy, and I'm not trying to give him an excuse, but it's not an easy situation to step into. When a football team is not playing well, you're really not. You don't have a foundation of a running game on the offense. You've got some offensive line issues when you step into the lineup. You've got some wide receiver issues as well, and overall team issues. And so it's not exactly the perfect setup for any backup quarterback to step into, but he definitely didn't help the cause.
No, I mean, look, we saw Jameis Winston come in and beat the Baltimore Ravens immediately, and a team that had all those issues you're talking about, going nowhere, whatever. So it happens. I mean, sometimes the backup plays well. I'm not trying to – I wish Mac Jones had played better, but the reality is there is a massive gulf between Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence, and I hope for those people that couldn't see that earlier, it's becoming a little bit more clear now. Logs, you have any more broadcasting you're doing the rest of the week, or you got a bye week as well? What do you got?
No, we still have Jaguars All Access on Wednesday night at Strings, so people can come on out and hang out with me and Brent Martineau and Kai and I'm not exactly sure which guests we're having, but I'm sure we're working on that right now.
All right. Logs, enjoy your time hunting those deer or whatever you're going to try to put a bullet or an arrow in, and good luck, bringing home whatever you can. We will talk to you next week, and enjoy your Sunday off as well.
All right. Thank you, guys, and you guys have a great bye week as well.
All right, buddy. There he goes. Jeff Lageman out the door, and a check the tape Tuesday, tomorrow. Well, we'll see if anything happens. I'm going to say no, don't. I mean, I think that's the safe bet at this point in time, but we'll react to whatever happens. And look, I hope you understand when we're talking about future speculation, that's not the role that we put Jeff in or we ask him to fill here. You want to talk about some of that other stuff tomorrow? I'm more than willing, particularly the first hour of the program. Jump on in.
Sure.
And, express your opinion. We're not blind. We don't have our heads buried in the sand. I agree. Change has to happen.
Yeah.
Whether it's happening now or 6 weeks from now, I think ultimately it may not change the outcome of anything. But in the meantime, I totally get the frustration of fans who feel like they're not being responded to for this level of performance.
For sure.
As bad as it's ever been.
And I don't think there should be any mystery as to how far you and I think the change should go within the organization. We've been very clear on that for a while.
Me? Complete.
Absolutely. All of them.
Got to start it over.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean players.
No.
That means
staff.
Everything else.
Yep.
Rip it
Front
out by the
office.
roots. Sorry. It's going to happen at some point in time. All right. That's for tomorrow and future days. For Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, and Jeff Lageman, I'm Mike Dempsey. Stick around. Helmets and Heels coming up next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.